He looks to throw, looking deep downfield. He's got a receiver open. It is complete. That is Stevens for a touchdown.
The Bulldog Radio Network proudly presents the Coach Gray Show on 102.7 FM, Kearney's hometown radio station. And now, here are the hosts of the show, Mike Davis, Jim Dickerson, and Coach Josh Gray.
Yep, that's them. That's the studio audience. They're back. Is that the same studio audience, Brian, that shows up on Wednesdays for Kearney Live? The same people? Yeah. Yeah. Well, and thanks for being here, folks. Yeah, we appreciate you, all you folks up there in the balcony. Thank you very much, and thanks for not throwing popcorn. We appreciate that. You are listening to the Coach Gray Show, and I am your host, Mike Davis, along with producer-engineer Brian Watts, who shakes his head yes all of the time. Yep. No matter what I ask him, he says yes. He says yes. And my good friend and the co-host of this show, Mr. Jim Dickerson, is with us today.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jim. It's good to see you. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the namesake of this very show, the Coach Gray Show, Mr. Coach Gray is...
How you doing?
Mr. Coach Gray, Mr. Josh Gray is the coach of this show. This is how we're going to start today. It's good to see you. And I'll tell you what, it's particularly good to see you in all truthfulness. After a...
I like that, in all truthfulness.
Right?
It really is good to see
after a 40-14 victory.
Yeah.
And you know, the way I described it in our news release was in the news article, was it was a much needed. And I don't think there's any other way to sort of categorize it, to characterize it. When you talk about,
I do have a question, though, because I know there was a lot of confusion. Was it 40-14 or 40-13? Because there was a scoring, and maybe you can help clear this up. There was a field goal, if I remember right, that somebody thought was good and somebody else said didn't get counted, and then it didn't show. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's the right score.
Okay, so yeah.
The 40-14.
Yes.
I have the Kearney Bulldog stats.
Yes, sir.
Those are the ones I'm...
That's it.
Yeah.
You got it right.
Now, there was, I believe, mistakenly, in the first half, the second touchdown, they indicated that we didn't get the point after. And
Correct.
I thought, oh, so we did not get it? Or
Correct. We went for 2. We didn't get it.
Okay, see, and of course, the video, the video was non-existent on that score, among others. I
heard that.
Yes.
Yeah. There was a little glitch.
We thought you guys just went to the buffet or something for a few minutes, and we were like, oh, okay, well, that's not going to happen.
Did you guys go down to Branson while you were there?
We did not.
Oh, that's too bad.
We could have found a buffet, I'm sure.
That's what I was thinking.
And done well. The kids would probably like that.
Not in these days. You couldn't.
That's true.
Where did you? Because we talked about that, and you wouldn't release the information, but we talked about it last week. Where did you eat on the way down?
We got some sandwiches. We ate on the way down, stopped in Collins at a truck stop, got out, stretched our legs, fed them some, set up some Price Chopper sandwiches.
Ah, well done.
And
was it
got back on the bus and motored down there. And
I like it.
Was it a real truck stop?
Yes, it was.
With actual trucks.
It was actual trucks and everything.
Going for the educational experience.
Yes.
All right, don't touch anything when you.
That's not a toy.
We stayed outdoors and it was nice. Little lunch we had on the way and stretched our legs a little bit and then made the rest of the way down.
All right, nobody walk more than 7 feet from the bus, please.
I would imagine
it's a busy truck stop.
No doubt about that. Yeah, that's sort of a kind of a hub, I think, for a lot of truckers.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was good. So we stopped there, ate a little bit, and made our way down and got there kind of our normal game time and normal routine and got through everything there and then stopped there, got them fed on the way home as well.
Nice.
Out there after the game.
Same truck stop?
We did stop at the same truck stop, but we fed them prior to getting on the bus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So a little snack.
You're not much for variety. It's just like, let's hit the same truck stop on the way back.
Great stopping point.
Right.
Great stopping
And I would imagine the ride home was a lot of fun because, it's nice when you win.
How long was it? Because it's not, you can't go straight. You've got to, they don't have like a straight highway all the way down there, don't you? Once you get closer, doesn't it turn into a bunch of weavy?
Yeah, there was where you kind of jog over just south of Springfield on Double E takes you there, and you kind of wind on this back road to kind of get you where you get hooked back up so you don't have to go through Springfield. But we got there. It was 3.5 hours, I think.
Oh, that's not bad.
A
I was
little
thinking
over
it was
3.5.
gonna push,
Obviously, with the
4.5.
stop, we got there right on time where we were kind of shooting for. So
Nice.
timing was well.
Right. Did you have a chance? I'm just curious to visit too much at all with the coach or any of the people down there. I know you guys. You got right after.
Yeah,
it, so,
we got there and we pretty much met with their AD and briefly just said hello and
That was
and,
it.
I thought you were going to say, did you? I thought, honestly, I thought he was going to, did you get to visit a lot with the truck drivers? Or? That's where
I like
where
it.
I thought you were going with
You
that.
know what? That's probably a better answer because I like that question for all the reasons that
I met
Yeah.
Pete, the diesel truck driver.
Right.
He's a pretty nice guy, but
It's interesting
Anyway.
too. Yeah. I think the crickets. You
I was waiting
missed your
for that.
cue
All
there,
right, so
Brian.
that was it.
yeah.
good night.
All right. It is fun to win, no
Yeah.
doubt about it. And I think particularly, and I'm going to go ahead and say it right here, that Ian Acosta was our Stables Player of the Week, number 5. You better believe it. 143 yards of rushing with 2 touchdowns, 173 yards passing with 3 touchdowns. Wow, what a night.
Yeah, he played. He made some plays where we got kind of bottled up. Had a couple miscues and one, and really made a nice play out of it. And that just shows his athleticism and being able to make plays, obviously when needed, but be able to scramble and get out of some situations, and was able to make some pretty good yardage out of a mishap and did a really nice job.
Right, and we saw a couple of pretty good pass plays too, as well. I think, and then we had, of course, Carson Frakes had 98 yards of receiving, and he was, as we listened to and watched what video there was of the game, those guys, the announcers of Reed Spring, were suggesting that, that certainly Carson Frakes was our go-to guy. And I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
Obviously, he certainly was with his 98 yards the other night. Zach Grace had a catch as well, and it was a 39-yard catch.
And a touchdown, yeah.
Yes, which is, they got him down here for the touchdown, you bet. And you like seeing that. We talked about him last week, and I think we must have got him pumped up.
Yeah, that was good to see.
Yeah.
For him, obviously, and for us to, kind of continue to build his confidence and his ability. And he had a pretty dang good game. That was a great catch. Made a nice catch on their sideline, and kind of broke away and ran it in the rest of the way. So it was a nice play.
Yeah. And then Luke Nolan had another catch, and that was as I recall, that was the one, it was a swing pass.
Right. He had
And
one over there
Yes.
on our sideline and made a nice move and got some good yardage, picked up first down and made some nice plays, and then caught a nice slant ball over the middle, little slant pass, and made a heck of a catch there too. So
Right.
those were all, and as we look at that and kind of reflect upon the game, obviously we won, which is great.
Right.
And we go back and we continue to look and evaluate, just as with a win, with a loss, of the things that we need to improve on and to clean up. And, that's where you can't get comfortable, where, you win a ball game and you relax and you're like, oh yeah, well, there's still things that need to be fixed, things still need to get better at, and continue to work and point those out so that we can continue to grow and continue to get better. And, we saw some of those things and addressed those in practice this week. And, I think that's, as a team, you obviously you want the win, but you better learn from the win and learn from your mistakes, and not only look at the positive things. You got to look at what you need to improve on. And so you're continually, each day and each week getting better. So you don't make those against, down the road here when we, this week against Grandview, or next week when we go to DeSoto, or when we start districts and all of that. So, you kind of have to take it in perspective and look at the things that we need to clean up, because that was a good football team. They had their running back was a heck of a runner. He also played linebacker really well, made a lot of plays and was all over the place and have a lot of size. And their big tight end, H-back receiver guy was a very good athlete and big sophomore and really had a nice game. So that was not a slouch of a team. And, so we got to fix some things that we need to fix and continue to move on this week.
One of the things I thought was impressive was, remember 2 weeks ago we were talking about where Acosta overthrew Frakes like twice by a step or two, but last week, Friday, however you want to look at it, he hit Frakes on that right down the sideline that was 22, 25-yard pass, and then Frakes again in the end zone, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So it's like the timing adjusted or got figured out.
Right. And they, that catch by Carson had a heck of a ball game. He had caught a little screen pass and had a guy on him, and the extra effort that he was making and trying to break free and putting forth, and those little toe touchers on the sideline, and the ball was on point, and in the end zone as well. They really were on together,
right,
and had that timing piece, like you said, kind of figured out a little bit again, and
yeah, that sideline pass was a thing of beauty.
Yeah,
but to watch it on video, it almost looked like he stepped out of bounds. And then, in fact, we looked at it closely yesterday, and you could see that he had at least one foot.
Oh yeah, he had him in.
But you could see the two guys that were over on the sideline that traveled with you. They weren't dressed out, and they were both given the signal that it was a catch.
Well, but you're supposed to do that. I'd be 9 yards out of bounds.
Well, they were standing right there.
He does a good job of knowing where he's at, spatial awareness of being in where he's at, catching the ball and getting his feet in and dragging his feet or toe tapping and making the catch. So that's great.
He was defended too, so it wasn't like he was
a tough
there
ball.
all yeah, that guy the defender was right there, so the ball had to be
spot on the money.
That was well thrown.
Yeah,
that was one of those ones. The only person that was going to get it was going to be Frakes or nobody.
Right,
it wasn't going to be intercepted going the other way.
Yeah, Ian put the ball in the right spot, and Carson adjusted, and it was a thing of beauty.
Nice.
No doubt about it. And then, of course, we talked about Zach Grace, who is doing a terrific job. I guess as the season goes on, I start to see the sophomores that are playing so well. Zach Grace and Luke Nolan and a handful of others, that it just makes me think, and I realize we have a game to stay focused on against Grandview Friday night. But, man, I can't help but look into next year and see what these guys are going to bring, to the table next year. If they're playing this well as sophomores against other varsity teams, good teams, boy, what does that say for next year?
Yeah, and that's a testament to those guys being ready right now and being able to contribute to this year's team and have done a great job. And the guys that are surrounding them continue to help them grow. Coaches on the field, whether they're a junior or senior, helping those guys out and understanding. And our coaches do a great job of getting them coached up where they're at. And I think that's just going to continue to add to their experience. And, as we continue to grow this week, each day that they come out, you see that light bulb click on again and again. Oh, yeah, I get that. Or, it becomes more fluid for them to, whether Grace is blocking or you got Joe Marshall at corner with technique wise of going up, and he made some really nice plays on the ball in the end zone last Friday and did a nice job. And all those guys, Will Lincoln at the fullback spot and really starting to understand those positions and really doing a good job.
And not to get too far ahead, because we'll talk, a little bit coming up here in the show about Grandview and whether they have a one-leg quarterback or whatever. But
it's still funny after 3 weeks.
Kind of made myself laugh on that one.
Now, if the joke doesn't work, you'll be the first to know.
No, because I'm the authority at telling jokes
run it into the ground.
That don't work.
Yeah.
The guys that are playing, they're seniors this year, and they're planning to go on, or they're wanting to go on and play football. Are they able to get the looks? Because I know with the restriction, guys can't come in and watch like they used to.
Right, and are some restrictions with that, and that's why huddle is such a huge piece, and getting them out there and making highlights and then being able to put that out and so that they can be seen and sending out information on them from us, from, height, weight, grades, all that kind of stuff, kind of your recruiting class, if you will, of what's coming through.
It just seems, and it seems.
But yeah,
weird
it is difficult.
Yeah, because not only that, but and not just here, but I'm talking, across the country.
That's it, yeah.
If you're pulled out because of you're quarantined because of the Rona, you lose 2 games or something like that, and the guys are looking at you. Plus it's just, I don't know, it just feels different because every time. We're either playing somebody else, we're playing somewhere we're not supposed to be, we're playing with half the team gone, or they're playing with half the team gone. It's just not a normal look.
No, it's not. And that, but that's what it is. It is what it is. And, I think our kids have done a great job, and our staff and everybody is, you got to control what you can control. And it's funny you bring that up because we just talked about it on Tuesday about, whatever happens, whether we play on Friday, I mean, that's always a drop of the, you never know. You don't know what's going to pop up. So you got to plan for today and get yourself better today and make sure that you're taking advantage of your time because you don't know. And, the normal is that nothing's normal. But I think we've been able to prosper and through that and persevere through it and make adjustments as we need to. And, our guys are ready that, maybe whatever happens, somebody's not in and somebody else has to step up and it's next guy up. And, our kids, work hard during practice to put themselves in the position to be ready for whatever may happen. And, it's not normal, but that's 2020. There's not been really anything that's been normal.
That's a fact.
Now, that story's been beat to death. I know,
well,
but
it's
true.
still true, and until it goes away, it's going
Right.
to remain the same. We're going to take a break. You're watching and listening to the Coach Gray Show. We've got Coach Gray in studio with us. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
A special thank you going out to underwriters like these for their support of KPGZ.
Whether you're a large or small business, or just want internet at your home, Casey Coyote is here to help with all your internet needs. We pride ourselves on being a redundant, resilient, and reliable network to provide you with the best internet available. You can give Casey Coyote a call and talk to one of our local, friendly customer service representatives to see if you pre-qualify for our service at your home or business. Casey Coyote at 816-866-3038.
Injuries can happen anywhere, playing sports or playing with your kids or grandkids.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Strathland with Kearney Family Chiropractic Center, and I've been practicing chiropractic health in Kearney for over 22 years. When you come to see me, I identify what's wrong and determine if I can help you. If I can, I create your personalized plan for relief.
When you have pain, you can make an appointment by calling 816-628-6738. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center. Heal yourself.
Legendary Lawn Care. That's right. Legendary is your one-stop lawn equipment center. They've got over 40 years of experience with technicians who service all makes and models of lawn equipment. 4853 Southeast Highway PP in Holt. 816-320-3878. And don't forget to look for the special coupon on 1027carneymo.com/coupons. Let the friendly and knowledgeable staff at Legendary Lawn Care find the right legendary service for your needs.
Friday Night Sports. When athletes compete, they give it their all. At Liberty Hospital Sports Medicine, we're staying open Friday nights after the lights to treat the bumps and bruises that are part of the game. At Liberty Hospital Sports Medicine, we'll have physicians available to evaluate and treat right on the spot. So after the lights, remember Liberty Hospital Sports Medicine every Friday night from 9 to 11 p.m.
And you're back on the Coach Gray Show.
You almost said Kearney Live.
You saw that happen, and I stopped myself just in the nick of time. Although Kearney Live is not a bad show to watch on Wednesdays, and we're here every Wednesday at noon. But today is Thursday, and it is the Coach Gray Show. And thanks so much, as always, for being with us, Coach.
Absolutely.
It is a lot of fun. I'm looking at some of the stats here, and it reminded me that the defense played pretty well, too. And I wanted to give John Timchak, did I say that right, Timchak? Credit. He's a junior, wide receiver and a D-back, and he had an interception.
Yeah, he had a great pick.
Yeah.
That was great to see him. You know, it obviously brings to the forefront when, you know, the defensive backs make a big play like that, whether it's a pick or you see them, you know, break up a great pass that's thrown and show their athleticism. And, you know, John's been doing a great job. And it just kind of showcases his ability to break on the ball, be in the right position, and just made one heck of a play. And that was great to see.
Yeah, he's a junior, so another guy will likely see him. We'll see him next year. And one of those guys that, and so many of them, I see that you have them listed as wide receiver and defensive backs, which, you know, by the time you get to the NFL level, they say, well, you're a defensive back because you can't catch.
He's got good hands.
Yeah,
he does
exactly.
have good hands, and he's a good athlete, and really has flourished as a defensive back. But you know, we typically start everybody with two positions, and sometimes, you know, we get them pulled one direction or another, depending upon the need and where the fit needs to be best for the team, and has really done a nice job.
Right, and it's always fun to kind of see that, because then I wonder, especially the guys that you see regularly out there. Although this year, it looks like most of your athletes are playing both sides anyway.
Right, we have a few of them that do that.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So it always makes me wonder when I see that. Well, I wonder if he really can catch the ball.
He can.
Well, he proved it the other night, no doubt about it. But I'm having fun with you, John. So just so you know, but. Always fun to see a turnover like that, and I'm trying to remember what were the other turnovers. Didn't we? I think
there was a fumble.
Right, forced a fumble. Yeah, which is pretty cool. And in fact, we held them to a ridiculously low amount for a team that they had 151 yards rushing. So that's pretty decent night.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we
they had one drive that they ended up. Kind of a longer drive that we didn't get some stops needed, and they kind of got the little bit of momentum going, and you know, we had our back against the wall and held them up. And then they got I think we had a penalty and got them into some short yardage situations, and they were able to capitalize on it. That was in the third quarter, I believe.
Right, and they had the touchdown late in the fourth quarter. But it makes you wonder. I mean, they were a Class 3 team, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. And you could tell they were very competitive.
Yeah.
And I think, size-wise, it's hard to tell from just the video that we saw, but it looked like we might have had a little bit of a size advantage. But as I watched that team, they looked pretty darn good. And I think they were, I can't remember what their record was, but they're a pretty decent team. It wasn't like they, just Right. It wasn't like we just crushed them.
Right. They came out ready to excuse me.
Yeah.
Came out ready to go, and very competitive and very well coached, and they had some big guys, athletes that obviously made plays, and they want to play the game of football too, and,
right?
And they're not just going to roll over because whoever rolls into town, and
exactly, and that was really my whole point here, that you want to give these guys credit for for the effort, because it was a terrific effort. Yeah, did we come out on top? Yes, and we scored some good points on some long passes and some really good plays and things that we kind of expect from our Kearney Bulldogs.
Right.
But the other team is they're there to play as well, and it really, and I think as you look at, I mean, the different classes in Missouri districts and so forth, how much difference is there when you're talking about a Class 4 versus Class 3 or a Class 4 versus Class 5?
And I have a follow-up on that, upon your completion.
Okay. I think when you're talking number ones or ones on ones, you know, obviously the bigger the school, I think there's more to pull from.
More depth.
Right. Than what you'd have at a smaller school. You know, so I think when you're talking size wise, class wise, I guess that kind of depends on the school of how big, you know, how big a class 4 are you, how big a class 3 are you, how big a class 5.
How's your political career coming? That was the best non-answer I've ever.
I think that's accurate. I mean, he did. It's depth.
Actually, in all honesty, Mike, because my follow-up question was, is there a difference? I know what my personal opinion is, but let's see if you agree. Is there a difference between like what a class 3, 4, 5 would be up here and a class 3, 4, 5 maybe down there in the middle of nowhere, Missouri? Don't write letters. I'm not saying Reed Springs nowhere because I get it. But you know what I'm saying. Different because they referred to Kearney repeatedly as the big city, and they made it sound like
they called it class 5, mistakenly.
Class 5.
Right,
but I think it was all in their mindset.
Yeah.
They're like big city guys coming down here, and I'm like, I don't think you quite understand Kearney. But that being said, well, I guess their population's, what did I say, 900 and change?
Not very much.
So
no.
I guess we are kind of a big city using that analogy. But they don't. Do they even have a class 1 outside of Springfield? Springfield, I'm sure, has a class 1 somewhere in there. But they don't have class 1s, and I don't.
Well, they have 8-man football in Missouri.
Yeah.
There's
1A schools. There's class 1, class 2.
Like way down in in those small cities?
Yeah, I would, in the surrounding communities, I would imagine so. I'd have to pull up the Misha site and
I was
to give you an exact, you know.
Because I guess what I'm getting at,
out.
and I'm doing a horrible job.
Well, let me see if I can help you. Because I see where you're going with this. I see it, Jim. I see you.
But he's thinking we only have 30 minutes
here's the
left,
deal.
and you're never going to get to the point.
And I think Coach hit on it. I think, yes, if you're talking about your starters, between a class 3 and a class 4, they probably measure up
fairly close.
Pretty much.
I think
yes. But you don't have the depth. Why don't you have the depth? Because it's a rural area where you don't have as many kids to draw from. The population is less. And by the time you get to other areas that we're talking about where you've got 8-man football, they can't even field a whole team.
Right.
So, I mean, you can't have 11 players. And so I think that's fundamentally the difference.
Don't they have parents?
Yeah, exactly. Can't one of the dads play?
Yeah.
I mean,
bring in dad.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I was going to say now, but
I think probably
the big thing. I think if talking about classes, obviously you have more to pull from when you have a bigger school. So depending upon the talent level of the school or who's there and whatever that looks like, you know, I think there is a difference between a 4A school and a 3A school. Just like there's a difference between a 4A school and a 5A school, especially in the surrounding KC area. I think there's a difference in some of that. It kind of depends upon, you know, I know some class 3 schools that are, you know, that have been state championship teams that are all of, you know, they're pretty dang solid and would match up well with a 4A and even a 5A. If you look at, you know, some of you look at Webb City,
yes,
you know, I think they would give some 5, 6A. I mean, they do. I mean, they give 5A, 6A schools some run for their money, and I think a lot of years, depending upon the year, depends upon what you get and what kind of classes are coming through to feed your varsity program.
This brings up a whole nother thing. How many, not statistically for an exact, but because I don't think this was heard of back in the 70s or even 80s or whatever, but do you think, are there parents that actually move into districts to get their kids into a certain school?
Don't be naive. Don't be naive.
Sometimes I ask the question I already know the answer to.
There you go.
It is.
But no, I mean, it's just kind of interesting because when Mike went to school, you would never move. You would never move from city to city,
crickets, Brian,
to find
a school to play football. That was unheard of. But now I know people do it. They're like, yeah, I want my kid to play 5 school. What are you looking at me like that for?
Well, it's.
Have you seen his leather helmet?
I have seen. I will tell you this.
Okay.
Remember the Big Eight when Nebraska actually played in the Big Eight?
Oh yeah.
They used to draw from 8-man squads. They used to draw from tiny little towns across the state of Nebraska. But what they managed to do was recruit the very best players from each one of those tiny little high schools that were out there in the middle of nowhere, and managed to put together championship teams year after year. And then they messed it all up and went to the Big Ten. And that wasn't any fun either, right? But yeah. And I think that's a good example of kind of what we're driving at here, that there's talent out there, and you may well be playing on an 8-man squad. In fact, some of the Kansas, and his name escapes me, but he played in the NFL. He was a wide receiver for K-State, and he played for Green Bay, and his last season was last year, and I can't think of his name, but he played 8-man football.
If you're a good football player, you're going to get recruited. You're going to get found. I mean, that goes from my opinion, anyways. If you're good enough to play, regardless of what size school, recruiters will find you.
You'll stand out somewhere,
right. And I think that's kind of what we're driving at. And like you say, the kid that was playing playing running back, and he doubled as their linebacker. You could see his speed. You could see his talent. That he had quite a bit of ability there. And obviously, I mean, with 151 yards of rushing, he did okay.
He did all right.
Yeah, and I don't know if those were all his.
But you know what else I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, what helps these kids a little bit now is the video, because a recruiter can watch a video. They don't have to physically go down to or read it on a piece of paper where it really doesn't explain
the true story of how they play.
You can see exactly what they're doing. You can say, okay, that's talent there that I want. So,
and that's the important part for kids that are trying to get recruited, is to make their huddle highlights and put that out there, and to do get yourself exposed that way. Especially this year, like you said, with recruiting, with recruiters, that restrictions and everything that's going on.
Well, we talked to Colby McBride a while back, and interviewed him about his, now his extended football career, and he's playing at Missouri Western. Yeah. And he indicated to me that there's a point at which, yes, you're going to get some calls and you'll have some official visits, but if I'm not mistaken, his visit with Missouri Western was not a scheduled visit. And the coach just said, they liked his academics, and he's a smart player, and we knew how hard he worked from last year.
Yeah.
But he was a good indication of a guy that said, I kind of had to self-recruit, and I think was kind of the words that he used, which said, I've got to get my video out, I've got to get all of my information in front of the right people to see it. If they're, and I think particularly this year, Jim, to make your point, to help bring this full circle, I don't know how these poor kids are doing it, and they have to get their information and the huddle video or whatever resource that they're using to get it out there so that they can be seen.
But that actually goes full circle to what you said last week, is how football is so instrumental in real life, because it's just like anything else. If you want a real job where you're going to go out and get it, you have to put yourself out there. You have to do all the things to make yourself seen.
Yes, be
They're
proactive.
Not going to call NASA isn't going to go, I wonder what Mike Davis is doing today. So you got to put yourself out there. So I think it's a great educational tool. This is a great way to make yourself known, and then that'll pay off later.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should develop Huddle for business.
Well, I think LinkedIn is trying.
Probably does that.
Yeah, don't you hate it when somebody's already invented what you just invented?
Yeah,
I hate that. Happens all the time.
I came up with Velcro about 3 years too late.
Day late and $1 short. Well, we are not going to be late for this next break. You're listening to the Coach Gray Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
thank you to these local businesses who support KPGZ.
Oak Point Assisted Living and Memory Care. What else would you expect? After all, you're home.
When I looked into an assisted living facility, I was immediately attracted to Oak Point's amenities. I get 3 delicious meals daily in restaurant-style dining areas and a trained staff on site.
To set up a tour or learn more information, please contact Tara at 816-628-0075 or visit the website at provisionliving.com.
I'm Sean Barber, owner of Stables Local Kitchen and Patio in Kearney. Stables is a Kearney thing. We love to be the place where people get together. Stables features a full menu with a scratch kitchen, offering lunch and dinner options, as well as a weekend breakfast starting at 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sundays. Stables has been a proud member of the Kearney community for almost 20 years. You can check us out online at stables816.com, and Stables is part of the True 816 family. Eat, drink, local.
Scott Accounting and Tax provides our clients with quality accounting, tax preparation, payroll, and business creation services. Small town friendliness, big town expertise. We make it our business to know your business inside and out. You can trust Scott Accounting and Tax to get your taxes done quickly, correctly, and on time. Appointments now accepted by calling 816-352-3320. That's Scott Accounting and Tax at 816-352-3320.
More reliable power means more of what you love. You expect your lights and appliances to turn on at the flip of a switch, and so does Platte Clay Electric Cooperative. That's why Platte Clay is working hard to make power more reliable in the Northland. We exist for one purpose: to empower communities and energize life with safe and reliable energy. To learn more about their plan to reduce outages across the Northland, visit www.pcec.coop/reliability. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative.
Coach Gray Show is on the air.
Laughlin finds an open seam up the middle. 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Garrett Laughlin on a 42-yard run.
Jim Dickerson and Mike Davis take you inside Kearney Bulldog football. The ways in the house of strategy, the honest assessment of skills, the lessons learned.
Corbin Bevan caught the ball in the air in full stride and ran it straight into the end zone untouched.
Go inside your favorite team every week on the Coach Gray Show, Thursdays at noon on 102.7 Kearney's hometown radio station.
And welcome back to the Coach Gray Show. There we are. Thank you, Brian. That's better. Thank you. Appreciate that. It is the Coach Gray Show, and we are happy that there was a 40-14 victory that we can celebrate as we look forward to another opportunity to win, which is tomorrow night against Grandview.
Yes,
Coach,
sir.
What do you know about those guys that we haven't already seen from last year, and how different are they?
I'm kind of getting a look from this other direction.
I'm waiting for because you're not. I tell you what, you're not going to say probably is, well, the quarterback's not very good.
Well, he's a very, I think with them, Coach Pickard does a great job over there with getting them ready to go. They've got a lot of speed, a lot of athletes. They got some size up front, and they're a dangerous team. They're physical, a lot of big plays from them offensively, and those are things that we've been working on this week. Is that with their speed that they can break a tackle and right. Get to that second level and onto the third level. They're very dangerous. Their running back is very shifty. He's got some speed, and they block really well for him, and with what they do offensively, they spread you out a little bit and run the ball well and get their athletes in space and then make plays. So defensively, we've got to be on point with angles and make sure our tackling's on point and all those things that we continue to work on and get better. And we've got to be on point tomorrow night with coming to that because this team is very dangerous.
We saw that last year, and
I was going to say,
right?
let's go back to last year. We'll remember it was interrupted by a hailstorm
that looked like a snowstorm before it was over.
Dented my car again, but
we played one. It was almost as if we played two different teams. The Friday night before the hailstorm ran us out, we pretty much were in control of that football game. Then early Saturday morning it all changed, and it in fact went into overtime, as I recall.
That's right.
And we just barely squeaked by them. And
Braxton hit a
Buster Lawrence in the end zone, if I remember. Isn't that right?
That's right. I think
Braxton kicked a field goal.
Yeah. I think Buster helped extend the game.
Yeah.
That frankly tied it up. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or wait a minute.
Right.
Buster didn't catch a touchdown. He knocked
defended
away.
Right.
Defended. Yeah, that's right. I knew he did something. I couldn't remember. What
something
it was.
good.
Yeah. So we've got to be on point. I mean, that's a very dangerous team, and it's a conference opponent, and we will be ready. I know, and defensively they've, their guys run well, and their size up front. We've got to make sure that when our blocking rules and all of that, and just play the football game. And like we talked about before, sometimes you can overthink things, and I think that's where we've gotten better, and we've definitely taken some steps in the right direction, and in doing that, because they'll bring some pressure, and we've got to be able to handle 8 in the box and be able to run the football.
They are 3-4, as are we.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if I recall, Grandview year over year, they seem to be penalty heavy. They seem to be they get a lot of penalties. I mean that is.
I think they did last time.
Yeah, it just seems the last couple of years that's been problematic. They're easy to jump, and I know Acosta's got that really good snap count that's worked a few times, and so I mean I know you can't count on that, but.
Right? And I think with utilizing that, I think changing up the snap count and doing those things slows down some defenses that are blitz heavy or that are, get off the ball really well, gets them to hesitate. And we've done a really good job of doing that and changing up the count and utilizing that piece as part of the game to slow down the defense from, getting in a groove on the cadence and things like that and, getting off the ball real quick. So that definitely bodes well for us and that ability to change that up.
Yeah, I guess same rules, two seats per
Same
player. Yeah. None of that's changed.
Nothing's changed on that end.
Oh.
But each participant who comes in to the stadium can each have their own cowbell, correct?
I hope so.
There
yes.
is no limit.
There is no limit on
cowbells.
cowbells. That's correct.
The last I heard,
our crowd that showed up, and not to go backwards, but we had a great crowd that showed up down to Reed's Spring.
Nice.
And was loud with the cowbells, and so thanks to all of them that came out to the game on last Friday, because they were heard, and it was great to see the Kearney faithful that made the trip down
and
there.
the Reed Spring people are probably not used to the cowbells, and they were like, "What in the world is that?"
Yeah, because it was loud. It was good. It was good to have that. Good to have that.
I
for
almost
sure.
had another cowbell joke, but I left it out.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, it's a slow day. We can. That's all right. Well,
Did you meet Mr. Reed?
It's funny you say that. I did not. I don't know if I can trust you anymore.
I saw that last week. I know.
I really think that's a true story. And I think
it is. Well, I
not your story.
No, the other.
Well, part of your story is correct.
Yeah, the guy's name was it was Reed. What was his first name? It doesn't matter. I forgot. But there was it was named after Reed.
Yeah.
This is how a show gets derailed. This is exactly how it starts.
Population 976, if I recall.
I think that sounds about right.
Hey, the good thing about that, though, and to kind of backtrack back to that, even though we're looking forward to tomorrow, playing them, and I know it's funny because as soon as you pick up a game when you can pick up a game,
right.
And we were very fortunate. As hard as we worked to get to be able to play the game and to be able to find a game, and regardless of how far that was, it was a great bonding experience, I think, for our kids to get out and to experience something like that. We weren't able to take a trip to do a team camp, to do any of those things. And, it was good for the guys to get out and
Cool.
to experience that. And so
Well, plus
kudos to Mr. Schwarzenbach, our athletic director, and our admin, and everybody. Because it's not just one person to make that happen with our district administration to allow that and to make that work in such a time crunch. And
yes,
it definitely benefited the kids, and it was great to be able to play on a Friday night and in a great atmosphere and in a new place, and to go down and experience something a little bit different in playing a team that you probably could never play them again, and to have that and to go down there. So it was a very very good people, and so it was good. It was
and
good.
Can you imagine if you had to stay home and you weren't able to find another game? You would have missed all of that full-on game time speed, and in fact, it's a real game, and so you can't practice that.
That's
kind
right.
of speed.
You can't. Yeah.
And so imagine if you had missed that, and then you're coming back to play somebody like Grandview, who's same record, and we know how competitive they can be and how explosive they can be. But you're ready now, and boy,
we didn't have to take a week off.
It would have been a disaster. Yeah.
Is Kansas playing? I know this is 2 weeks ahead, but are they still playing full steam, or are they having? Or do you? I can't even remember because there's so many teams
still,
that
but
have gaps.
some of them are. I know, and I really can't say who because I really don't know. But I know there's some districts that have multiple high schools are only playing within their district. So like for example, if it was over here, it'd be like North Kansas City School District playing all. They're playing all the teams in their district, and I know some of those districts are big and they've got 4 and 5 schools, and they're kind of playing each other there, and they're kind of staying in some proximity things. So. They are playing.
Okay, good. Well, because it's every week is a new
You never know what
experience.
you're going to get.
And until life is like a box of football games. You never know who you're going to get. Anyway, I lost my whole train of thought, and I thank you.
Never happens around here.
I was hoping I could derail you a little bit there.
Real quickly
to Kearney Live.
I do want to mention that Joe Marshall had 2 attempts. They call them attempts, but he had 2 kickoff returns that averaged 25 and a half yards. And then KJ Smith had one, a 36-yard kickoff return. So you got some guys back there who can return kicks.
Yeah, and that, that's obviously huge for field position.
Right. Exactly.
Stating the obvious there, but I mean, that's those guys that are able to read their blocks and set some things up, and it showcases their athleticism. Obviously, as a runner, Joe's a very athletic kid. And,
we saw that.
He can catch the ball. Obviously, he can run the ball, and he's a heck of a defensive back. And KJ's the same way, just like Luke Nolan back there as well. So we've got some guys that can definitely do some damage.
Yeah, if folks are coaching against you on the kickoff team, they see these 3 guys: Joe Marshall, KJ Smith, and Luke Nolan, and it's like, who do you not kick to?
Yeah.
You're right.
And that,
I mean, you better drive it through the end zone.
And right, and then with that, so you get the ball on the 20. With our returns, we've been able to average a pretty good return off that, and our guys do a good job blocking and setting up the things and running our scheme of how we return and what we're doing, and that obviously sets up the whole piece together. It takes everybody to get, just like the O-line, the guys blocking are like the O-line to get the runner through. So
so many just little parts that you tend to forget about individually as you look at a score, particularly at was it 40-14, and you're thinking, great team, wasn't that wonderful? But then when you start to break it down a little bit and look at the component parts of it, you realize this team's pretty darn good.
Yeah. And I like where, like I said before, I think, we've grown a lot over the season. Some guys that got probably some playing time that maybe didn't think they would because they had to step up in a different position or whatever that looked like week to week. And we've grown as a team each week. And last week to this week is, just because of the wind, like I said, you can't, get all warm and fuzzy. You can't take a breath and relax. You gotta, you always got to continue to work to get yourself better. And regardless of a win and or a loss, where you evaluate, okay, what do we do well? Continue that. Continue to work on the things that you did well, and what needs to be improved. What did we do that maybe we didn't fix from last week that we've got to be more consistent with our play? And I think you look at that each week the same way, and you approach each opponent the same way in preparation to make sure you're not, looking too far ahead. And but I like the steps that we're taking, and these young guys or this team is definitely taking strides where we need to go, and that's a testament to their willingness to be coached and their that drive that they have to be successful, and that drive that they have to play the game of football.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And as you were saying those things, I was sort of reflecting back on a couple of the games that we played, and we got a little time, but I look at that Winnetonka game, and that was one that, Jim and I are looking at this thing for 3.5 quarters, and it was in the fourth quarter where you started seeing this thing just start to slip away a little bit, and yet we were toe to toe with really I guess would be the conference leader right now, right?
Right.
Winnetonka.
Yeah, really in their district right now.
Yeah. And you're thinking, only one team can win.
Right. All the woulda, coulda, shouldas.
Right.
And that's where you gotta, you learn from those hardships, and you learn from those, the times that you get kicked down. That's what you learn from. If you're always on top, you're not learning a whole lot. And I think our guys are learning how to be better, how to work better together, how to, and what their job is and how to play the game.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow. That's how you grow as a, that's how you grow as a coach. It's how you grow as a human. You only get better with the adverse times or the failures that you have. That's when you come back and you become stronger, and you learn from that. And you hopefully, as you go through life and as you go through, for us, the football season, you continue to get better at that.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it. That's what makes it fun, and that's what makes each day you go out and you work on those things, and that's why you're there,
right?
To get these guys going in to learn and how to. Because there's going to be a lot more adverse times than losing a football game in their life, and that's for dang sure. I know we talked about that last week, but
really, like what?
Like what? So you hope you learn that through football. I think I could list a lot, but you learn that through football. I think, and these guys are really learning life lessons. I think in the game of football, and that's why it's so great. And you build a lot of character, and you build. Just a lot of wisdom as a young man. You can take so much from the game.
Yeah, and you talk about adversity, because going back to the first game, and then we beat Fort Osage
in overtime.
Yeah, which was everybody's like, all right, here we go. And then you get week 2. Well, first of all, that game wasn't even supposed to be here. It was supposed to be there. Then week 2, we start, okay, these guys can't play and this and that. And then we start, and from then it's been downhill. And every day, not every week, every day is something new, something different.
I wouldn't say it's been downhill. Not to correct you, but I don't think it's downhill. I don't see
if I was wrong.
I don't. I guess we don't view it that way. That things have been downhill. It's everybody goes through struggles. There's always going to be something that's going on in a season, let alone this year.
Right.
But I think, and that's why I said I think that's what's made us stronger, and I think that's what's going to carry us through where we need to be as we continue to throughout the season. Those times that we've, us as coaches that,
right,
they're not there, whatever that looks like. Well, I think that's what's going to get us where we need to be, and I think that's those adverse times strengthen us.
But I think it's the way you guys as coaches and the district have worked through this whole thing has really been pretty impressive. Because I know there's some districts that have just said, we're out, we're done.
Yeah.
Then that's just the easy way out. And then you get
take us out of here, Jim.
You get people like Brian who try to tell you to stop talking by making music in the background.
We got a lot to say, don't we?
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
take us out of here, Jim. Let the folks know what we're going to be doing tomorrow night.
The other thing I wanted to... No, I'm just kidding.
Get moving.
You've been watching the Coach Gray Show. Apparently, we are done for the day. Be sure to join us tomorrow night for the game. Pre-game's at 6:40. Game time, 7 o'clock, 102.7 FM for the Kearney football, the Bulldogs. Oh, and eventually we'll tell you the name of the Bulldog back here. We'll talk about that later. Have fun. We'll see you tomorrow night.